Good evening, guys. Welcome to Free Flowing Thoughts. I should also welcome myself back because I've been absent for a couple of weeks. It's Holistic Week, so today I'm welcoming guest speaker Aisha, who's a mindset and positivity coach. Let's see if we can invite her in. Aisha, tell me if you can see anything on your side. Here we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Here we are.
Hello.
Oh, wow. Okay, bear with me. Let's just turn down my lights. Hi, Aisha. How are you? Thank you, Anne-Marie. How are you, Aisha?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good.
Don't worry, everything's
Can you
good.
speak up? Can you speak up for me? Because you sound very, very low on your side.
Right, hang on. How's that?
That's a lot better. And how is my lighting looking to you on your side?
Good.
Excellent.
You
So,
look
you know what it is?
You look fantastic.
Thank you. No, sometimes from my perspective, like your lighting looks a little bit dim, but then once you look at the live, it
Right.
gives a different perspective. So it's nice to kind of check with people how the lighting is and how the sound is. Let's have a look.
Yeah. I'm just going to turn my phone sideways and see if that's a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. No, no,
All right.
let's keep
Then,
it. Yeah.
yeah, because I was hoping to do. Hello, everybody. By the way, I was hoping to do it from my laptop, but the request to join you was through my phone.
Excellent. So let's adjust a little bit because we had a little bit. Instagram is constantly updating, but I don't know what they think they're updating. And every time I log on, there's an issue. But it's all right. Let's try and get it together. Bear with me.
They're just being cheeky for a Friday
They
night.
are.
They're being
They
cheeky.
are. They are. Hi, everyone.
But we can handle that. We can handle that.
We can definitely handle that. Instagram. I fill in the blanks with you after. I can see what they're doing now, and it's not great either. I can know what they're doing. The writing's up on your face, and I can't remove it, but it's all right.
Send a request to be in. Let me do that.
What are you doing?
Oh, I see. I know what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. The writing's up on my face. Shame.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not supposed to happen. As I scroll up like this, after a while, it should disappear, hopefully. Are you with me, Aisha? Okay, that's a bit better. All right, once we download this live, the writing will not be there. So guys, if you're not used to Instagram, all your lovely comments will not be there once I post it, because Instagram is so cheeky, they remove all the comments once we download this. Yeah. So you might want to add all your comments back on the video once we download it to my page, and that way it can stay and you can share your experiences of what you shared with us tonight. Welcome, Aisha.
Cheeky. Well, thank you so much for having me. I think I've mastered it now. Yeah, thank you. This is so cool. I'm sitting here in Berlin, in Germany. I've got my fabulous feeling around me. You're in London, in the UK, I think.
I'm in London.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, topic of the hour today is very much a holistic week. I think it's actually great to have someone like you on this talk this week at a very challenging time for a lot of us in this world at this point. And today we can be discussing affirmations, meditation, relaxation, and all that holistic stuff that comes with it. How does that sound to you?
Perfect.
Perfect. All right.
I'm actually I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So let me start with what has been your feelings leading up to this live talk today?
Really good. I was trying to pause for thought because it's Friday, it's the end of the week, you know, what's not to be happy about that? And I was reflecting, as I often do, especially on a Thursday, because that's my mindfulness day, where I usually start with the morning and sit on a cushion, a meditation cushion, and I just sort of look out onto nature. And as it kind of came towards today, I was thinking, what's my frame of mind? What's my mindset? And I thought, I'm actually in a really good frame of mind. I think it's a lot to do with the snow has gone, the ice has melted. There's no need to worry that I'm going to skid and hurt myself. And I just felt like I could breathe again. It was almost this feeling like spring is coming. So I thought, well, this evening I'm in a really good frame of mind.
Oh, that's nice. I like the way you process so much, even the weather.
Yeah, I mean, people often complain and say, "Oh, you know, you brought over the British weather to Berlin," and I'm thinking, do you know what? I love it. I love the British weather. I can breathe. When it's raining, I feel I love it. It's just like you don't, it doesn't just fall. It's like you actually feel the drops, but you're not getting wet.
Oh, so you
If you
find
know
it
what I
quite
mean,
refreshing.
it's just
So
I
what is
love
your
it. It
favorite,
makes me
what's
feel
your
good. I
favorite
can,
time of
like I
year?
said,
What is your favorite time of year in terms of weather?
okay, definitely not the season I was born in, which was November, but I would definitely say spring. Hit it, yeah, spring, because that's the temperature that's optimal for me. Usually around then it's around 25 degrees, or September, because by that time I can usually go on a cycle tour for about, I don't know, 3 days to a week from A to
Wow.
B. And that sort of temperature, I love it. If you ever have the chance to do it, I'm not like super fit or anything, but a lot of these places that you
Wow.
can do this sort of thing are flat. And I
If I
cycled
ever
from,
had that
not on my
motivation
own, like
first go
Berlin
to
to
that
Copenhagen. So
so let's get
say again.
into Aisha for a moment. Share with us, who is Aisha? Let's start there.
I am a happiness and a mindset coach. I should say mindset and happiness coach, but the word happy comes first because I've had this kind of alias Happy Aisha for a really long time. And it kind of stemmed out even more last year when I decided to certify as a coach and an NLP practitioner. NLP means
May I
neuro-linguistic
pause you just for a
programming.
moment? Aish, may I pause you just for a moment? I think that's what you do, but that's not who you are, is it? And that's why I always ask people,
I'm a,
who are they?
okay, all right.
You see how clever I am with that, yeah? So just to
Oh, the question, it's all right.
see, quick question. So what it is, guys, if you just it's something for us to think about, and I'll just share it with you guys as viewers. I think we're so used to associating who we are with what we do, and that's not who you are. Unless who
That's
you are
true.
is what
That's
you
true.
do. But if I was to remove your job,
Yeah.
certificate, parent role, or partnership role, you'd be left with the bare essentials of who you actually are as a soul, which will have nothing to do with what we've studied, what we've earned, who we've married, and who we parent or guardian. So who we are can be totally and is totally different to who we attach handles to be honest. So it's really, and that's not me dictating who you are, it's me taking a moment to actually say, who is Aisha? Because that would have led to why you became that. We're going to get to that question a little bit later. Yeah?
I like that.
I'm very
No,
psychological.
that's a really very good point. That's a very good point. And yeah, then I have to think about
We have a
it
lot of
because
attachments and it has nothing to do with who we really are. So let's start with, who is the soul of Aisha?
Aisha is Aisha's a twin.
Oh, I'm so
I am.
jealous. Go on.
I'm an identical twin, but generally,
Oh my gosh.
I was born early.
Oh
I
wow.
was pushed into the world early, which gave me extra time, which means I'll never be late anywhere. But I'm generally
Oh
someone
wow.
who I walk around with lots of joy. I'm generally a half glass full person as opposed.
Please don't
Are
buffer.
you there?
Come back.
Okay.
Come back. Oh, there you are. Go on. You're buffering for a second. So you were
Yeah,
saying you are a
we're
half
back. We're
glass
back.
full. Carry on as you were saying.
Um, I would generally describe myself as pretty excitable. Um, I know that, I mean, obviously you have your down days, but generally, more often than not, I'm generally pretty excitable, and I find it quite hard to contain it. So I'm usually the sort of person that I'm not going to like blurt out and say, I want all the airtime. I will listen, but I'm the kind of person, I like to be around people. I like to feel connections. I do, probably because I'm a twin. I don't like being alone. I learned to practice being alone because it's actually really good for you. But as a kid, I
I was
always, you know, I had lots of family around me, cousins, friends, you know, children that I was allowed to play with across the road when I didn't have to stay at home and do things like, you know, all kids do, homework and things. But no, I mean, I'm generally like a happy-go-lucky type person. And that's kind of stayed with me. Obviously, people have things that happen in their lives, but I would say I've pretty much stayed the same. Not much has, you know, deterred me off that. And in fact, it's probably coming back out more. I'm a creative person as well. I like music. I like singing. I've been asked to sing in a band, which I did, and I dressed up in my pink outfit.
Are you any good? Are you any good at it?
That's like if you ask me, can I speak fluent German? If you're not German, I'll say yes. And if you're German, I'll say no. So I'm really good at singing. If you ask a singer, they'd probably say I'm not professional. But if you ask just me, I'd be like, yeah.
I love it. I love the attitude. Yeah, of course. I love that. I love that. So whereabout do you, so let's recap for us. Whereabout do you reside? What part of the world are you in?
I'm in Berlin, in Germany. I'm British, but I moved across here about 11 years ago. I love mainland Europe. I love nature, the opportunity to go into the mountains and Alps and cycle on cycle tours. I can do that really easily where I am. And also the city, it's a very open, welcoming place to anyone. There's not really like, you don't get this feeling of you're not welcome here. That's why I love being here, because I'm always feeling welcome, which is important to me.
Is it multicultural? Is it cosmo? How would you describe it?
It's everything. So it's the obvious things that you can think of, like integrated, intercultural, multicultural, people from all over the world. But it's also got culture and arts. And there's a June the 21st, Fête de la Musique. You can cycle around the whole of Berlin and listen to music for free because nobody has a license. So whether you're going to the highway or a church, there's music from all over the world. It's just that kind of place that I don't think you'd feel lonely here, I have to say. I've lived in other parts of Germany, which I didn't mind living in, but here I feel completely at home. Like my soul arrived with me really quickly.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, if I ever come to Germany, I know who I'm going to call. It's you. So on that note, let's also get into who was Aisha as a child? Tell us a bit about you as a child.
I was pretty cheeky. I played a lot with my siblings. I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because that was just normal. And I had a lot of energy. So much so that my mum would say, if you're going to go out and play in the garden with your bicycles, don't keep coming through the kitchen to come inside. And we could occupy ourselves for ages. Being a family with more than one sibling, you just play with each other. So we learned all the musical instruments that you can think of. My parents were very liberal. They pretty much were strict, but let us do what we want so that we've developed as creative people. And they also just made us help people a lot. So I guess we learned to be kind at quite a young age. If my mum was driving along in the car, she would see someone crossing the road who was old. She would just stop the car and say, get out and help her.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
We just did. So then we just got used to that sort of thing. So the kind of kid that I was, again, it's probably stayed with me since. And I think as I get older, those things I used to do as a child resonate and stay with me. I think we look at our parents and we just think, can't wait to move out. But actually, as you get older, you just think, when will I see them again? I haven't seen my dad or my siblings for over a year now, in fact. But we talk lots on video chat, and that's actually not
because they live different parts of the world to Berlin.
Yes. My family, I'm British. I'm a dual citizen now, actually. Yay. They live in the UK and Australia. And because of COVID, obviously I can't travel, but I'm not upset. I mean, I was emotional at the time, but I'm just making the most of it. And we talk regularly, and that makes me feel good. Makes everyone.
Whereabouts your twin in the world? Where's your twin sister?
My twin sister Anissa is in Brighton. She is actually a choral singer, a conductor for choirs, and she was actually a conductor for 2 hospices. But then because of Corona, that all shut down a lot. And so she's upskilling actually and doing sort of similar things. She's also sort of public speaker, motivates people. We're very similar, and we also often have similar feelings of pain and experience.
You're quite close then, you would say?
Yeah, definitely. I could not live without my twin. I could not.
So
it wouldn't be the same.
How does your friends and family describe you, or what do you pick up on what they, in regards to how would they describe you? How have they described you, your family and friends?
Actually, I actually know the answer to this question because it's a bit of an odd topic, but I actually asked friends on Facebook what would they remember me for, because I can't imagine, because I live abroad, lots of people will come to my funeral when I die, whenever that is. So I said, well, can you just tell me now? I said, can you just tell me now what you'd remember me for? And they all wrote really nice things down, like your laughter, or the joy that you bring out in people, or the excitement that you seem to live your life with, or just your compassion and just fun things. No one said you're a Debbie Downer or a grumpy, Gary, or a what's the other one? A negative Nancy. So
if there's anyone on this live that knows Nancy or associated, did I say Nancy? What? Wake up, Aisha. Yeah, associated with Aisha. Feel free to describe her in this comments box. So how would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself?
Because I tell you why I ask these kind of, I always thought-provoking questions, is I think that the reality is what I think of myself can be totally different to what the world thinks of me. Not that it makes a great, you know, profound impact on what other people think or ought to have a grand impact, but it's just the interest of the contrast of thoughts that helps us warm into not only a conversation, but how we view ourselves and how we think the world views us. So in comparison to how your family, how do you describe you?
I honestly, I would say I'm someone that I surprise myself. So apart from the obvious things that I think I am, I think I've really evolved and grown and developed over time. And a lot of it has to do with who I spend my time around. Like since becoming a certified coach, I realized there's a massive community of like-minded people who want to improve their lives and where they are, and help other people do it. But you generally want to do that first yourself. So I'm just able to continue how I usually am amongst friends, but obviously with other people. So how would I describe myself? Cheerful. Just going to move out of the way. Cheerful, sprightly, not a jogger, not a runner. Have tried, can't do it. Look like Daffy Duck. But I'm one of those people that if you take me on, I'm loyal. I'm loyal, and I've got high
we like loyalty.
Well, it's important to me. I think trust and developing relationships is really important to me. Those are more important to me than material things. If I think about what the most expensive thing is that I've purchased, it's not really anything material. Probably the friendship, and you can't put a price on that. Or the relationships I've built with people, that you can't put a price on those. That's more important to me. And to be honest, if I think about the friends or connections I have, I am one of those people that will literally reach out to everybody once, because those things matter to me. That's how I like to spend my time, rather than watching the, you know, whatever's going on in the news or social media.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it nourishes me, it enriches me. I can see people writing stuff here. What have we got?
No, we're going to look at comments after, because it's so distractful when I keep stopping looking at comments. So I'm going to go back to them. Once I give Aisha a moment to breathe, I'll go back to reading the comments. Otherwise, it's very disruptive, so I don't tend to do that too often. But guys, please continue adding your comments, and we'll take a moment to view that. So let's get into you now as the handles. As we've now we've discussed who you are. Let's go into your attachment handles, and you being a mindset and positivity coach. What led you to that path? How did you get into that?
Do you know, it's a very interesting question, and it does require some thought, but I did think about it. So here's the answer. That
was so quick.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready? It's a long story, but basically what I realized is, in addition to my day job, which I love, that's where I do things for others. But what I found is when I do something to make myself happy, and I am able to then make other people happy, it brings out the best feeling in me. It's a bit like being charitable. If you sort of, if you are charitable in whatever way or shape or form you want to be, it makes you feel good. And the thing I noticed about... Oh, shall I continue? The thing about...
Oh, no, continue. No. I'm just straightening out my hair. It looks a bit wonky.
You're sorting your hair out. I could, honestly, my hair's like a mop. You could turn me over and clean me on the floor with it.
Continue. Don't let me distract you.
I'm distracting myself now.
I want to pick mine. So go
see my Wonder Woman outfit. What I noticed is, if I had your hair, I'd swap it for a day.
Go ahead.
What's important to me is distraction, digression.
That's all right. Laughter's good. Go on.
I love laughing. What was I going to say is, the thing about, did you ask me about what led
I asked you what led you to the path of becoming a mindset and positivity coach?
You did.
What inspired you to
yes. You know, last year I was, I think like a lot of people thinking, what is going on? How long is it going to last? What's my perspective? What can I do about this? Because I'm feeling a bit pants. And actually what I did was I learned and looked up what being a coach is, and I realized that a lot of what it is resonated with me, because I don't want to go into details about what a coach is and does, but generally if you want someone to help you feel
It's more
better.
about what led you to that path. Because I mean, let's be honest. I'm very, guys. For those who don't know, I'm very psychological, and a part of my studying the background is counselling also. And so I'm very psychological. So even though we can talk about what a field is about, there'll always be something that probed us to become that. And if you look at this, to break it down so you can understand why I'm asking, in a lot of roles of counseling, psychology, psychiatry, social work, fostering, I'll honestly say to you, there's a lot of people that either triggered from childhood or long to be rescued themselves. There's always a didn't want to say that to you, but just so I can break down why I'm saying it, as you get confused of where I'm trying to go. There's always a trigger that leads people to want to help others, and often it's because they want to help themselves. They want to rescue themselves, either through childhood or adulthood. So I'm keen to find out what led you to your journey of wanting to be a mindset. What happened with your journey? What was your triggers? What inspired you to become that, get into that role?
Yeah, okay. So, no, it's all right. There's none of that. Actually, I had a really good upbringing. I'll be honest, nothing bad happened.
No, it doesn't have to be bad. There's always triggers. There will always be triggers.
My mother wasn't very well, and she was waiting for a kidney transplant. And for those 10 years, we found ourselves as a family boosting each other to lift each other's morale. And I think as I got older, I realized that the experience I'd gained along the way, aside from being in the workplace, was one that showed me that actually the experiences you gain in life, if you can make people feel happy or enable them to just feel good about themselves, or just how to talk about things, that's what actually happened with me. A lot of people would come and ask me questions, and it had nothing to do with work at all, but they would just use the space because it was a safe space. Because I think the thing about me is, if you talk to me, you can talk to me in confidence, and you know that you can trust me. So I realized that I could actually help people on a different level by becoming a mindset coach. It's not just being a mindset coach, but it's just being a coach in general. I mean, if people are going to come to you, there has to be a reason. And if you've got this kind of reputation where people who are coming to you are doing that because they know that when you say something to them, it stays with, they say something to you, it stays with you, that's important. You're kind of cultivating the trust with that person. You're giving them that space to feel safe. And that stuck with me. And I guess I developed that then into something more serious by becoming certified. And that's what I do, because I think the last thing you want is to sort of sit and talk to others. Well, I don't like to do it, is to talk to others about whatever was going on in someone's life and without their permission. And I definitely don't like gossip. Other people thrive off it, but to be honest, I don't like it.
I don't.
It's not my way of life. It's not my nature. It's not part of my philosophy or my ethos. And I'd rather go out and have a conversation with myself than, or if I have something to say, I'll go and talk to the person directly. That's what I do. Because that's more important to me than what so-and-so said or what someone else said.
Absolutely. How long have you been a certified coach for?
Only since last year. So unofficially, I've been doing it for like many years, because people are, like I said, coming to my door a lot. And it might be because of the situation with COVID as well. People are feeling quite
I think we're all
detached,
counselors unofficially, to be honest, because I think that people are always so connected, whether it's they're calling or have the ability to be professional, that's something different. So for you, it's been a year, and how are you finding it?
Really just fantastic, because I've learned techniques. I've learned how to conduct myself with certain situations. It's much better to do that under a controlled environment, I think. That's my opinion. I'm not the kind of person that thrives off saying, oh, I'm a trauma coach now. No, I'll be the first one to put a disclaimer out and say, I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not a therapist. I can help you moving forward with your goals. I can talk to you about your mindset or how to be happy or positive. I can give you tips on positivity. I'll do that today. But what I'm not going to do is hold myself out as something that I'm not, because I do not believe in that sort of behavior of how to conduct yourself. So you have to be as professional doing that as you do doing anything, because you're dealing with people's lives. It sounds like such a small statement, but you have to be very careful.
You absolutely are. So allow me to unlayer you. Let me take off one more layer of you, because I see this is an onion conversation, and
I am exactly what I was thinking.
I'm unlacing you as I go along, and I will put you back together before the end, I promise.
Go on.
Yeah. So,
How many layers?
Oh, and that's the thing. I'll tell you as a disclaimer, which I don't normally tell people, but this will make sense for viewers. Again, it's a bit like the initial questions I like to ask in sharing. I think that when you have a profession, we forget to kind of tap into who we really are and we live within that profession. So I think that we're all onions, we all have layers. We absolutely all have layers, and you know, there's different shades of them actually, you know, as we progress in age. And it's nice to kind of see how people got there. I think there's a lot of life coaches, counselors. Everyone wants to be a therapist of some sort. It's quite a trendful profession to get into, but I think that very few people are willing to share the damages or the dark side of where they've been and how they progressed out of it. And that's what I've noticed. I speak to so many people, and there's so many podcasts, and very few people talk about what they went through. It's always like, I'm a counselor, but no one says, well, I suffered of depression, I was suicidal, because they don't want to reveal that part. You see, and I think that's the part that I think people hear about sometimes, because people sometimes need to know how to transcend out of the bad or dark place of where they're from. So just sharing these kind of analogies and questions, I think, helps people to relate and resonate to the soul of the person, as opposed to the attachment handles of, do you know what I mean? And that's quite important, I think. So if you don't mind, can you share some or any experiences that you may have had that is not so happy and bubbly and I'm great every day? Because that's not quite realistic, is it, every day? So is there...
If you're ready to hear it, yeah.
Of course, but you have to be, it's basically an invitation of making sure you're comfortable to share it. But I like to be uncomfortable, because we can't grow through comfortability. That you would know as a coach as well. Yeah, we have to be ready to share as well. So, so yeah, that would be something that I think would interest others as well. Is, you know, it's great to we aim to be positive and resilient and perky and uplifted and enlightened every day as a lifestyle. We know that is an everyday effort, a bit like exercising or changing your dietary. But can you share, are you willing to share the signs that was not always like that, so that we can have a realistic take on how you transcended and how you manage that daily? So can we get into that?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my story of what happened, but I'm also going to tell you how I came through it. Because I think what's important for people listening is to know that there is hope at the other end.
Absolutely, and that's why I like to unlayer people.
Right?
Yeah,
yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
And thank you in advance.
In my case, that's all right. You're very welcome. If I talk too much, just raise your hand.
No.
In my case, as I mentioned, my mother was waiting for a kidney transplant, and I was 15 when she came back from the hospital. And actually, she said, "I need you all to stop arguing," because we were quite a loud family of children that used to argue a lot. She said, "I just don't have the energy for it anymore." And we were thinking, what's going on? And she said, I'm actually not very well. And we were like, okay, fine. But we didn't really register what was actually going on. But what it led to was then 10 years of watching her physically, but not mentally, because mentally she was very, very strong, was physically change, because her whole body changed. Because when you're on dialysis, you're actually... there's different forms of it, but you spend a lot of time going in and out of hospital. Your life is pretty much in the hands of the healthcare services, who are fantastic. Have to only give praise to the NHS, at least the experience that I had. But
that's
what it
me.
meant was there was a lot of us.
Go on.
Is it? Oh, thank you.
I don't specialize in dialysis, but that is my field. Yes.
This is you. This is you. You are Wonder Woman.
Thank you.
No, we are thankful.
We're
very thankful to the services, because watching her going in and out of hospital a lot showed us just how much the body can change over time. And when she was on hemodialysis, which is a blood dialysis, you're basically, all of the blood you've got in you gets drained out and then goes back in once it's cleaned. And we would often watch, because they connected a vein and an artery, we would watch those explode, and then the nurses panic because they knew the seriousness of what was going on. And us sort of being there at the side, trying to, be there and say, it'll be all right, but thinking, will it? What happens when your blood just kind of continues to spurt? So we pretty much had lots of years of that, lots of going in and out of hospital with infections and not knowing. Because the thing about an organ transplant is everybody thinks, oh, yeah, you're going to get one. But in our community, the Asian community, or the Black and minority ethnic community, it's actually quite a taboo topic. So actually I campaign as well for organ donation to get people to carry the organ donor card. I wrote a letter to the Times newspaper and told them, after she passed away, from being on dialysis and waiting for a kidney transplant for 10 years. I said, why haven't you got an opt-out system? They published that letter. 20 years later, last year it was, the law changed. So now you have an opt-out system. But what it made me realize, I carry a German organ donor card. I carry a British organ donor card because I don't know where I'm going to be. Anyone can do what they want in this world. But I know if I needed an organ, I would take one. Therefore, I have no problem giving one. But these difficult these difficult times and situations showed me just how strong I was with my family and siblings and cousins and aunties and uncles, just how close the community came, because they really respected my mum and said, the thing about your mum is when you tell her something, it doesn't go anywhere. And that really sat with me, because actually throughout my life, I tried to practice the same. And that, and, you know, in terms of where it's brought me to now is I've learned a sort of a healing process with grief. It took a long time. But actually, there's a very good TED talk by someone called Joan Rosenberg who talks about the grief reset protocol. I would recommend anybody who's going through loss or grief to watch it and to go through those steps. In fact, I've written a course on it that I'll be presenting fairly soon because it's just in the early stages on a platform where you can actually, it's called MA, you can elicit your emotions and map them out. And it's really fascinating because it's about like pulling out how you're feeling and going on a journey, a geophysical journey of mapping what you're feeling, but with the person that you resonate and can connect it to. So that's also a way that I'm sort of healing, to be honest. It's
so, Meg, allow me to ask. So, is this the part where you say you had your dark days or you're depressed? Because I'm trying to work out what you've experienced that people can also relate to, where you wasn't so happy and where you had your depressive moments, because that is really the core of sharing vulnerability as well, you know?
Yeah, do you know what? The dark days, if I'm to be honest, hand on heart, were not during the 10 years that she was not well, because we were very strong. We knew what was going on.
That we're trying to get
it was afterwards, because you realise that in the end, the inevitable happened, even though you didn't think it would. And it literally was like a bag of apples that had dropped and fallen. All the apples had fallen out of the bag, and it took about 5 years to get them all back in again and feel like you're eating good apples again. That's the dark days. I was really lost.
Are we talking about your mother passed away then? Right, okay, we're sorry to hear that. And how many years ago was that?
That's right. Well, 20 years, in fact, almost to the day. But I just, you know, as I said, I've kind of gone through a lot of healing, a lot of processing, and I think talking helps. Being a campaigner for organ donation helps, and going out and living my life to the best that I can, because the point about becoming a mindset coach is I thought I'm hitting towards the age that she was when she was departing this earth. And as I started hitting towards that age, I thought, I really have to make the most of my life, because I just don't know what's lying ahead for my future. So that's why I did it, because I realized I've got so much to offer and help people overcome, because I have. The best thing you can do with that is to share it.
So how did
a problem shared is a problem halved?
Sorry, sometimes I have to interject. I'm very sorry, just so I can get questions in. I apologise, guys, for having to do that.
You're so British. Don't say sorry too much.
Yeah, no, this for viewers as well, because it can seem interruptive when I do that, but it's because I have to. So how did you pull yourself through? What were your methods in pulling yourself through those? I don't want to put titles on it, but I know you're not really putting a title on it yourself, what that was for you. So I'll skip that. So how did you pull yourself through whatever those emotions was? What were your methods?
I communicated, talked to people, had deep conversation, talked really deeply, realistically about what happened, because we were there when, actually with my mum, when she was in her last, the entire day, actually, we were there right till she left us. That was quite a privilege, but, you know, talking and communicating, reaching out, and not going silent, because often when you're suffering, mental health wise, when you're suffering, people go quiet. They just withdraw. But I didn't do that, probably because I had the support of my family around me and my friends, who were fantastic. And you know, I think for me, the more you verbalize, the less a problem feels heavy. So that's what I did.
Okay,
I would
that's
encourage
amazing.
anyone to do the same, because a lot of people right now are experiencing difficult times, and don't sit in silence. There are lots of groups out there to help you if you can't talk to someone close to you. And also you can reach out to, if you can't talk to a group or someone close to you, you can reach out to coaches, because they're there. They talk to you in confidence. They should. Don't sit in silence. Don't suffer in silence. Share that problem. You'll feel better for it. You will feel lighter. Promise you.
Absolutely. So I'll give you a moment to catch a breath, drink some water, whatever you want to do in that moment while we can check out some comments. Yeah?
Sure.
So let's see the comments. It's been 2 weeks I've been away from doing a live, and I'm just readjusting to this lighting. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your waves. Thank you for your waves and your presence. Those who's popped on and off. Let's see. Hi, Kirsty. Hello, beautiful. Back to you, my darling. And Kirsty says you can't do IG from a laptop. Let's see. Is that Alison Butters, 18? Am I reading that correctly? She says, you have got this. That must be a friend of yours. Yeah.
Fellow coach.
Yeah, and Caprice 31, how are you doing, my cousin? Thank you for popping on. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so can you share with us some of your own rituals before we go into the actual practices? Maybe some of your own rituals that you do, or methods that you practice personally that helps keep you in a good place, that helps balance you on a holistic equilibrium and, mindful level and perspective. Are you there?
Do you know what? When I wake up,
I thought you paused. Go ahead.
Yes. No, I'm here. When I wake up, I only started doing this fairly recently. I actually say thank you.
Yeah, I do that.
Because I woke up.
Yeah, exactly. Because you woke up.
Actually, yeah, I do. I dream a lot. I put a smile on my face. Rarely am I not able to do it, but I put a smile on my face. And then,
how do you do that? If that's not happen natural, teach us and share with us how you can actually just put a smile on your face.
Usually I reflect on something that I might have done the day before that I think made a difference to someone. And I usually try and do just one thing, even if it's just asking someone, hi, how are you, making eye contact, because people are very withdrawn at the moment, wearing masks and not able to physically make contact. So I just do things like that, and then I reflect on the day before, the night before, and those things just bring a natural smile to my face. But I really try to keep it there for a good couple of minutes before I even think about opening my eyes.
Oh, wow, that's nice. So first thing in the morning, you lie in bed, you have a moment, you say thank you to, who do you say thank you to? The universe, to God, or is there a particular person or thing that you say thank you to?
Everything.
Everything. Are you a God believer?
Everything.
Is that part of your, okay,
I am.
so, right, okay.
I
so
am.
That's what you do in the morning.
I also believe in the universe. Like if you wish or want something positive that's good for you to happen, then it will. And if it's not good for you, it won't. Simple as that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's what you do first thing in the morning. Is there anything you do last thing at night?
I lay out my clothes for the next day to go to work,
That's
even
good.
if I'm working from home. I put out the breakfast bowl and I put out my vitamins.
Oh, wow, really?
My vitamin D, because I know that vitamin D is like very, you need it because we're lacking it a lot.
So you actually put out your breakfast bowl for the next day?
And I make sure there's enough milk in the fridge and muesli, and put my vitamins out, because those things you can't always produce on your own properly. But it gives me time when I come down.
Does that help you? I know with the preparing clothing saves time in the morning. Is that also why you put out your breakfast bowl, to save the time in the morning so you can just be on clockwork?
I don't even rush with that extra time. I just use that time to literally put up the shutters and sit on the meditation cushion and look out onto the trees where from my back of the living room, and I listen to the birds, because they're
That's
always
nice.
at it in the morning. And that actually is how I like to start the morning. I don't really look at social media. I just sort of focus in on, you know, the nature of what we are, the beauty of what we are. That's what I do.
I tell you what I do in the morning. I always say that daily, there might be an odd day that I'm disconnected with myself. But when I'm pretty connected, or even if I'm not, if I push that through, my morning rituals would be to wake up. I always say a gratitude prayer, literally, to the universe, to God, to just out loud to myself. And that gratitude prayer is literally for being able to, having a gift of waking up, thanking the universe or God for everything, vision, hearing, parents, roof over my head, my adult son, my grandchild, just everything that you would just take for granted. And then a few times a week at least, I don't entertain anything on my phone other than say YouTube videos, which will be of affirmations or prayers or remindsetting, something that will allow my spirit or my mind to be evoked and provoked, no matter what mood I'm in. Because I just find that if I'm going to entertain the white noise, which we call the nonsense up here, or the demands the world places on you, what you place on yourself, but at the very least, I have to have a mind spirit shift first thing in the morning. And then I'll deal with the WhatsApps and the social medias. But that is something that I find keeps me really focused. And then when I've been good, and I haven't been good for a week, when I've been good, I will then shower, and then straight after shower I go into a full body stretch and yoga in the morning, combined with yoga, and that could just be like half an hour, and then I start my day. And that really that really seems to help me for good mental health. I find it really just resets me. It's like I do an exercise, and it really helps the endorphins to wake up and then just shift myself. So that's pretty much my my rituals when I'm in a connected place. When I'm not, I just allow myself to be bombarded by the demands and forgotten all about the things that help me get through it. Yeah, but once I'm focused, these are the things that I lean on to get myself through and feel very positive.
Very good. I like what you said there. I can actually relate to some of that. I do yoga, but usually it's in my lunchtime break because we do spend too much time sitting at our desks.
Yeah.
So I do it to sort of stretch my back. But
wow,
other things
amazing.
I do is try to. Well, I kind of had to, because I'm not like I wouldn't say I'm a chumpy chump, but I'm not a skinny stick either. I'm sort of in between. But I would say during this period of you know, winter, shall we call it, I've gone into full hibernation, and I'm not even apologizing for eating what I want. I will get rid of it in the summer, but right now,
you know that's not the right mindset. Like, let me correct your mindset. You know that's not a good thing to do, right? See, this is what you got to understand, viewers, right? This is what we have to understand. Whether you're a therapist, doctor, dentist, we all have a part that we need to work on. So I will say to you, Aisha, that was my next question, but now you've just answered it. My next question was going to be, do you think that dietary plays a role in your mindset? And I will answer for you, absolutely. So during this whole time, I've still managed to be a conscious eater. I've been pescatarian from 2014. And conscious eating means, for example, last weekend doing a 48-hour fast, only teas and water. The last time I ate this today was 9 o'clock this morning. So I do a lot of intermittent fasting as a lifestyle, and that helps me monitor my weight. It's very psychological. It's very as a lifestyle, and being a conscious eater, I feel it helps me to remain disciplined, because we eat, as you will know, no matter how much we've studied, and that's the thing people have to understand, people eat for either comfort or other attachment issues, because half the time we say that we're hungry. Your body's not hungry, it's actually dehydrated. You need water. And that's why if you drink, let's say, a glass of water before you eat, you will not want to eat as much because you're not actually that hungry. So, I mean, if you have medical issues, I wouldn't recommend that people go ahead and start doing 2, 4, 7, 10-day fasts. But I would say you will realize that it will bring you in tune with your spirituality. It will evoke something else in you in discipline. And definitely I would say to you, dietary plays one of the biggest keys to recharging your mindset.
You're right. I will not disagree with you.
I know.
What I can add, no, you're quite right, because I can see you obviously are focusing on what's going in. What I will add to that is, because my mum had kidney failure, I don't let myself finish work until I've had at least 1.5 to 2 liters of water.
Amazing.
I'm actually one of those people that don't really enjoy drinking much else. I don't really drink fizzy drinks, even though I could. My twin sister doesn't like fizzy drinks at all, so that's the only difference between us. I don't really, well, to be honest, the problem with coffee is I like the smell of it, but it makes me high. I buzz. I get really, really excited.
In me, it makes me feel shaky. I don't like how it makes me feel.
And then you have the lows. So I drink, I tend to drink black tea with a bit of honey in it. That's what I tend to do, or decaffeinated tea, because yeah, those are the things I drink apart from water.
As you said, you're hibernating. You're not really conscious of what you're eating at the moment. Is there a reason for that? Can you share why you?
Do you know? Yes. I think one of the things about mindset is because right now people are suffering a lot, and I probably include myself to an extent, with mental well-being. I think there's so much going on out that you need to focus on, that you shouldn't give yourself a hard time over things that you can sort out later that are not going to be like ultimate no-nos. I think it's actually more important to take care of yourself. It depends what the things are. I mean, I'm not the kind of person. Sorry, I missed that one.
I think it's nice to have a little bit of a banter and challenge here. It's interesting. I find it interesting, different people's perspective. I honestly think, just the same way maybe a PT trainer would say exercise is a lifestyle, a nutritionist would say that's a lifestyle, and maybe a meditation and lifestyle coach would say, I think all three of those trinities come together that keeps us healthy. I really do. Those are the three key things that I think really upholds us, dietary, exercise, and mindset. I think it works as a lifestyle, and I think all of us have work to do in one area or the other. But I wouldn't encourage, just on my disclaimer, anyone to think that you can deal with food later. Because I think what we have to understand, and I'll definitely reinforce this, it's just like smoking and drinking, or overindulging in sexuality. Food also has that attachment. People eat to comfort themselves, and people eat to console themselves. So I think that if we see it as, yes, there's a lot happening in life. We shouldn't beat ourselves up. So I can agree with that. We shouldn't beat ourselves up. We have a falter. You haven't done your prayers. You haven't done your exercise. You haven't eaten your salad today. We shouldn't beat ourselves up. But I do think when it comes to dietary, we shouldn't be as laid back in terms of thinking we can deal with it later, because that's what a lot of people thought, and they became obese because it went big. They just carried on. And you've got to remember, food is an attachment. So
that's bad. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If I had that mentality, I would just people keep going until they look at themselves, they're like, oh my God, I'm literally now can't get through the door. And that's extremities. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't encourage in thinking we can deal with dietary later. That is one of the most important things that we need to focus on, because food and the chemicals and what we intake plays a massive role in how we feel.
This is true. I mean, to be honest, actually, I don't put sugar into. I agree with you, and I'm learning from you as well. I don't have white sugar or brown sugar. Generally, I've got like honey, and similarly, because I am able to cook at home, I can think about what I'm cooking. And if you're cooking something, I don't eat frozen foods. And you're quite right. You shouldn't park.
There's no way. There's no way. I wouldn't encourage that. I mean, just a disclaimer, I am no nutritionist. It's just, I am quite passionate in regards to being food conscious, because I've lived both ends of the spectrum, where you're just chilling, like I'm just, back in the day, I'm just chilling. If you look at some of my posts from maybe some years ago, even like I fluctuated in weight in the last 2 years, and maybe from 2008, and I fluctuated, and I can see when I was just so relaxed that, you sit looking at it like, well, you're cooking, but then you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And sometimes it's not even about the weight we gain, because someone can be quite thin and be very unhealthy. Because I think cooking for yourself obviously is great, food, but there are so many people that don't have the time to cook, and they still have an extremely healthy dietary, which they have food prepped for them and have it delivered from companies. As I said, I gave up meat in 2014. Doesn't mean I'm the healthiest person, but that was a conscious decision. At first, it was done as an experiment. I gave up meat, fizzy drinks, and bread, and I lost tons of weight, tons. And then I just couldn't go back to meat, so I stuck with it. But I'm not saying people should start giving up meat. Do what you think is best. But I do think that in terms of mood, if I start, let's say I had McDonald's today. Let's say I had a cheeky day and I had McDonald's. That can make me feel quite nausea. So I literally would have, let's say I had a pizza, I'd get away with that. If I said I had another pizza or I had too much dairy as I'm trying to cut out or whatever it is, I will literally start feeling sick because my body is not used to those types of food. So once you start cleaning out, you're not really able to eat like that anymore, to be honest, you know. So, but I do say we should have cheat days. We should have a balance. You want to have a bit of alcohol, you want to have it's balance, isn't it? So I don't think we should dictate to each other what we should eat, but I do think that I would always encourage conscious eating and asking oneself, why am I eating that? Am I actually hungry? Is it really time to eat? Is there a boredom or lonely attachment to when we're eating? There's so many reasons why people eat what they eat and when they eat. Loneliness is a big part of eating. You mentioned earlier about, you know, because you're a twin as well, you don't like being alone. And I want to emphasize there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. I love being alone, but lonely isn't a nice feeling if that's what we experience. But I love my own company. I can't wait to get away from people sometimes. I'm a people's person, but I love my own company. But so as a mindful coach, I urge you to get into that space of loving your own company. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah, I've actually learned to do that. And one of the things I did actually was I made myself go on a holiday on my own for 3 days just to see
That's
how
amazing. How did you feel?
Yeah. It was a big
How was it? Was it scary? I've done it before. Was it scary?
No, it wasn't scary. It was just like, what am I going to do with myself? Because I've only got myself. But you talk to yourself a lot and then you learn a lot about yourself. But actually, it was fine. I mean, I really enjoyed the peppermint tea in the morning at the hotel and the breakfasts. I explored Oslo because I was there during the midnight sun, as opposed to in winter where you see the northern lights and the aurora borealis. I just wanted to know, am I capable? Am I capable of spending time on my own? And I realized I am. And without being able to go on holidays physically to places, I'm actually really enjoying my space in the place I live on my own, because you have less people you're interacting with.
So you wasn't afraid? You wasn't scared at all? You wasn't afraid? You didn't feel... Did you talk to people, random people, and get to talk to strangers? And
yeah, because I was in Scandinavia. I mean, the people there are so friendly. I was on a bus and this person, I just asked her a question or two, like, why are the dustbins like that? And then we just kept in touch and we're still in touch.
Why are what the dustbins, did you say?
Yeah, the way they were lined up, it was quite funny. Just random questions. I'm the first person to talk to a stranger. I've got no problems with that.
Yeah, I'm very good at that, to be honest.
If I don't feel comfortable talking to someone or how they're being to me, I'll cut them off like that. But generally, no, I'm a pretty relaxed person. I'll reflect on what you asked me and I'll be like, that is so not true, you're worse. Yeah, no, it's...
So did you, so you took, how did you get to that destination? How was your, how, you didn't fly, you flew there?
Oslo?
Yeah. Where were you traveling from?
There. Yeah, I had to fly there.
From Berlin?
Oh, I think I was traveling from Munich. At the time, I was probably traveling from Munich by aeroplane. It was fine. I mean, I'm more interested. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly more interesting routes I've done, like go on a bus from Munich to North Germany, take a ferry to Scandinavia, and then just do a cycle tour around the whole country, because
that's really amazing. Cool. I love that you cycle. I love that you cycle. I love that you do all that. Because when my first travel, go on, sorry.
You talk to yourself a lot during that time because you can't actually talk to your people you're cycling with.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, my only and first solo trip was in 2008. It was to Tunisia. It was actually my first flight. I'm a late starter. I got sick of waiting on people. I got absolutely fed up of waiting on people that was never going to do it, or they've done it, but they just messing around and unreliable. So I had to start my travel journey, and I needed a break. That was me bursting to get out of the country and needing a break for myself. First flight, I said, it was really scary, but even more so because I'm terrified of heights. Flying was a no-no, but I knew I wanted to travel and still love traveling. So I was a person that couldn't walk on an aeroplane while it was moving. That's how bad. I would be walking like this. Oh, like you should have seen me. But you know what? I was determined. So imagine I was that petrified. And it's a bit like, you know, when you're traveling through the terminals and you get to to board the actual plane, and you got the air hostess, you got that little bit in the middle where it's quite bouncy. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like this before, everything's too much for me. Everything was magnified. Yeah. It was crazy. And I got to the country, you know, when that heat first hits you, when you open the aeroplane doors, and I was fine until I got to the airport and it became too much. And I, first time ever, got vertigo, and everything was like this. And I had to go and lie down the entire day, 24 hours to leave my room. It freaked me out. But I was glad I did it. Would I do it again? Yes.
I was going to say, look at what you achieved. Look at what you achieved.
It was massive. It was massive. There you go, girl. Yeah, it was massive. But I mean, because I'm a people's person, I can talk to anybody as long as the vibe is right. Yeah, his vibe's got to be right. I will talk to anybody, and I can make friends really easily. So that's really easy for me. But I was supposed to go on that journey. I think people can travel every day and learn nothing. I had that one trip, and it changed my life because of the mindset I was in. You know, yeah, it changed my life. I had so much moments of stillness and meditative reflectivities and growth and enlightenment. But I prefer to travel with people. It's a bit more fun. You can bounce off each other. You're sharing memories. But I would do it again if I had to. But I would prefer to have a travel buddy. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah, I did this thing recently on this platform I'm on, which is called metaphysical traveling. Have you heard of it?
Not metaphysical travel as a platform, no, but enlighten us, tell us.
No, it's like you basically you connect up with a group of people, and then you go on a journey to a place that you've always wanted to go to. It's a lot about discovering your emotions.
Oh, it's in travel buddies. Travel buddies?
Pair up with someone.
Right. Okay.
No, it's I mean, it's a pretty new thing, but you're going on a journey like not virtually because it's not online, but it's like as if you're going to a place, but you're not actually going there in real life because we can't right now. So you're actually going.
Oh no, I've not heard of that. How do you feel about that? What was that experience like?
It's on this. Well, it's fascinating actually. It's on this platform called MA, where you like mapping your emotions, but you find a place in the world you want to go to. You go on the journey with a geographer of emotion, and then you also have a real buddy. Like I could actually have you as a buddy, and then we would go on a journey together and explore the place. And it's just a different way of traveling in the world because we can't do what we do today.
What part of
amazing.
Asia are you from?
Asia?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, I'm South Asian.
Mm-hmm.
So my background is my dad is from what was India before the partition, then became Pakistan. And then he moved to the UK. And then my mum grew up in Kuwait. And
I thought he was going to say India. I was going to say, I'm going to go at some point. Let's go on a spiritual journey. Let's do it. I was going to say, yeah.
Oh, no, it's like, if you're really interested, I mean, I'll post in the
comments. Sounds, I mean, I wouldn't do it normally, but hey, I'll try anything. But look, let's get into now some meditative moments and sharing tips of how we can actually put things into practice and reset our mindset in terms of what you specialize in. So would you like to take lead in any particular area of your specialty that you would like to now share some tips before we go into the actual practice?
Okay,
whatever
well, with regards to I mean, I'll just give you a few tips on positivity and mindset because I think it's good for listeners to, you know, just have a few if they can't think of any. So I'll just give you some. So I say start your day on the right note. Try smiling before you get out of bed and say thank you for what is already, you know, in your life because you don't know what tomorrow holds.
Absolutely.
Start your day with a routine. I think that's important because if you're not chaotic around you, then you're not going to be chaotic in your mind.
Exactly.
Think about positive words because words do impact on people. They say sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never harm me. Not true.
Not true.
So think about what you're saying. Think about what you're saying to people. Think about how you're going to respond to them. And, you know, you never know what they're going through. If what you say is a highlight for their day, or if what you say isn't very nice, it completely ruins them and their day and makes them feel awful. But that's what I do is I try to think before I talk. When I speak German, I speak much, much slower. Now I'm speaking English. I'm super excited. I'm speaking 3 times as fast because I'm like, yes, I can speak English.
I naturally speak
I say keep
super
up your
fast, but I've learned to slow it down when
keep
I'm
up your
doing.
enthusiasm.
No.
I say, despite what's
I've
going
been
on
this
out
way as a
there.
child. I've been this way. I speak super fast, but because I'm so used to either past studies or doing things like this, I know how to slow it down. But my natural speaking, I could literally swallow my own tongue. I speak so fast. I was told yesterday by a stranger. I
Imagine.
asked her about the buses, and she says, "Where are you from?" I says, "I'm half Dominican." She goes, "Yep, that's why. It's the tempo of how you speak. It's Caribbeans, Dominicans, St. Lucian. We tend to speak quite fast sometimes." So, yeah, go ahead.
It's all right. Oh, that's interesting. Dominican. I'd
Yeah,
love to go there, actually.
culturally, not Dominican Republic, Dominica. Yeah,
Well, then you have to take me. Right.
yeah,
So,
that's the plan.
so keep up your enthusiasm despite whatever's going on in the world. Try to find things to make yourself feel good, whatever they are. Go out, get fresh air, go for a walk, drink lots, because if you feel hydrated, you can think clearly. Spend your time around people with like-minded, positive people. Because if you watch your company, you might realize that some of the people you're around are perhaps not healthy for you or good for you, and you should be aware of that. So do something about that, because you can do things about things like that. You can't do things about lots of other things, but you can do something about that. Exercise. Usually, apart from with the snow, I cycle to work every day and back.
That's
I've got a little
amazing.
Brompton bicycle. It's not hard. It's not even that far, but it just makes me feel like I moved.
That's amazing.
You need to do those things. Meditate regularly if you can. I don't think there's a reason that one can't. Maybe they'd find the idea of meditation boring, but I think as you evolve and learn about yourself and develop, I think we can all do that, connect with ourselves.
Can you elaborate on what meditation is for those who still, because many people don't know what it is. They hear about it as a trend, but don't know really what it is.
It's letting you take control of your mind. Like, really simply put, you're not letting it be influenced by outside factors or sources. You're letting yourself, you can listen to someone talk to you, but actually a lot of it
Guided
is,
meditation.
in my case, because for everybody it's individual, it's guided. You can listen to guided meditations. In fact, I'm going to, if you want, I can take you on one.
Yeah, we're gonna do a practice at the end.
Don't know how much time have you got?
That's all right. So basically we're talking about the practices. So you're saying how to, just to recap and paraphrase what you said, how we can, the tips on how we can maintain and obtain a healthy mindset. You're saying develop a morning ritual, as in having a habit, a routine that keeps you going, invest in exercise. I say also be mindful of conscious eating, of what you intake, and also how it will improve or actually give you, some foods give you downers, just like drinking fizzy drink all the time. It can cause a downer, depending on how much you're intaking. So be mindful of your dietary. That's my only tip I would add as well. You said meditation, and I would also add that, as you said, there's guided meditation, which I occasionally do, but now the meditations that I invest in now is more breath work. Where I'm assessing my breath pattern, which allows me to just be still and just connect to how I breathe, because we actually are not breath conscious. We breathe because it's automatic, but you would notice that when you actually do breath work meditation, as in just assessing just in your breathing, you would notice you're breathing either too fast, or you're actually not breathing enough at all, or even when I'm doing stretches, I'm holding my breath. So it's giving you a consciousness of how you breathe. And I tend to do a lot of affirmation meditation. So it could just be sat on my yoga mat where I'm just free and I'm just listening to affirmations. I can do it. I am love. I receive love. I am abundant. These are all meditative. And for those who don't know, meditation just means to ponder. That's what meditation means. So in actual fact, you're not actually taking control of your mind. Yeah, we all see it different, but there is a definition. So ideally, you're not, as much as you say clear your mind, when the more you say clear your mind is at least you clear your mind, because you're then trying to control. So some people are at different stages, though. They can really ascend and transcend because they're on a different mastery of meditation. for me, I'm just comfortable where I just take it slow, take it easy, and befriend myself and just be gentle on myself in that moment, really, is what I do, you know, with no judgment and condemnation of where I'm at in my life. So that's what.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So,
No, I'm listening. I like that. I like that.
yeah,
I think also what trying to get yourself into the right frame of mind to
yeah,
meditate. I wake up with a song in my head, if I have to be honest. I wake
that's
up with a song in my head.
amazing.
But when it comes to, every day, I love it. It just has been like that forever. But when I want to meditate, if I can't relax, what I do is I try and create sort of an environment for myself. So I, put one of the salt lamps on. I've got a salt lamp. Often I put on music that doesn't have words.
Tell me about that. That's a good thing. I've considered that. Does it actually do anything, do you think, the salt lamps? How does it affect you in a positive way? Sorry.
It's a bit like creating an aura.
Right,
I
aura.
can't. I mean, I do think if you set an environment up, like if I think about sometimes clients say, "Oh, I can't stop. I don't like salad," and I think, okay, where would you eat one? In a restaurant. Why would you eat it there? Because I like the ambience, the atmosphere, the music. So I say, okay, fine. Then when you go home and you make yourself a salad with all the things in it that you would have eaten in that restaurant, but at home, create the right atmosphere, put on candles, get some music going that maybe you would have heard in a restaurant, create the exact environment, but in your space instead. And it's the same with meditation. If I know that I want to bring myself down and be calm, then I'll create the right environment. I'll create the right lighting, the right mood, the right setting, the right music. And I know I did music classically when I was at school. And I kind of know what pieces I would listen to because they're not too intense. And actually, then it kind of gets rid of the inability to be calm, and it makes me calm without falling asleep. And then I'm just about alert enough to be in that sort of in-between phase of falling asleep and being over hyper. I'm just in that middle phase where I'm in the right frame of mind. And I do believe, things like the right sort of salt lamp, or you can have stones as well to different stones like rose
Like the
quartz, or
crystals.
they all
I
have different
actually
meanings.
haven't been attracted to getting into all that, surprisingly. I mean, for an example, you're talking about how you create the space. Before I do my lives, I always set my candles. I have multiple candles burning around me. I just love it, and scented ones sometimes. I have my, I like to clear my space with some white sage. It's what I
You
love.
see,
And it may
me
all be
too.
psychological,
Actually,
but it makes me feel good. I open the door when I'm burning it so negative energy can leave. I actually ask the atmosphere. I literally do, because I mean, everyone does their lives very different. I find that depending on what I'm talking about, sometimes a lot of trauma-based conversations, I like to make sure that it's just not my ego talking and just, oh, I'm doing a live. So I actually say to myself, expel negative energy out of myself, because we all harbor negative energy, and allow me to be guided with my thoughts and what I say to this person. So I actually really indulge in the moment as well, actually, when I'm, depending on what kind of lives I'm doing. Today I just thought, hey, I'm speaking to the bundle of joy, Aisha. All I need is to cleanse my own negative energy and my home, and light my candles and feel sultry and just wonderful and relax and just be. So, okay, so do you want to
and
go
are
into
you?
some examples with us? Whether it's, what did you want to do with us before, as we close this live? Was it a guided meditation or relaxation? What
Yes,
did you want to do
I
with us
could. I
today?
would call it. I would call it like if you're ready for it, and if your
Yeah.
viewers are ready for it, I'm going
Wherever
to take
you
you through
are.
a deep trance state to relax
Okay,
yourself and
so,
to boost your
okay, so
confidence.
guys, if you are in a position to be still wherever you are right now, and you are in a comfortable place where you can just be, please feel free to indulge in this moment. It can be very holistically helpful for us. And just to emphasize before Aisha goes into it, I, for one, have needed to have these types of conversations. It's been a roller coaster for a lot of us in the last year. I, for one, have had a roller coaster of, I think, 2 months, I would say. And it's just been a combination of, I'm a very, this is where I share me, because I think it's easy for me to ask people to share who they are, and I don't mind sharing myself. It's been, I would say, as a very adventurous, creative, spontaneous person who lives for the thrill, I've been working through the entire lockdown, but I've noticed within the last 3 months, let's say 2 months, I felt very repressed. because I'm limited for what I could do. And my imagination can only take me so far, and I'm very imaginative. And that definitely has had me have moments of blue and grey spells, making sure I don't go into that depressive dark hole, because I know what those triggers are. As a young person, I had depression, so I know what those triggers are. And that's what it is, people, to be honest. You have to be aware of your triggers. And if you are blessed, you will have these blessed. You know what I mean? It's, if you have that blessing of having triggers, you will know what's coming, or what that is going to, where that's going to take you in a good or bad place within yourself. So having these kind of spells of feeling quite, you know, stagnant and rigid and controlled, it's definitely in the last 2 months only, in this whole year, taken a toll on me. And I think also the fact that I had lost a close friend and an adopted auntie within the last week. They both died within the same week. And just a couple of other losses in other areas of detachments, I would say. So, I mean, normally I don't see detachment as a loss. I normally celebrate it, and it is something to celebrate sometimes. But I think that sometimes we have to separate what is a loss and what is a celebration. Yeah, and fine-tuning whether you ought to be celebrating detachments. I don't mean when someone passes away. I'm breaking it down here. But I think I've had to have detachments as well as real losses through bereavement, and then having the repression through lockdown, and it's taken a toll on me. So for me, I wanted to have a holistic conversation with you, Aisha, and for us to expand to everyone, just to remind ourselves, for those who know it, but to remind ourselves what we could do to pull ourselves back. And so before you go into your practice, guys, I will honestly say to you, when you're feeling, guys, girls, whichever you are, try not to allow your feelings to also reflect how you look. Where you say, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to look good, I don't want to put myself together, I don't want to eat well. That is also a telltale sign. So I say, you know what, girls, Marilyn Monroe says, put your best lipstick on and the day will be fine. Yeah. For fellas, have that shave. Stop. Yeah, fellas, a lot of guys are letting themselves go at the moment. They're not shaving, they're not cutting their hair. Oh, it's lockdown, who cares? Care for yourself. I've done my eyebrows, I do my nails, I put my makeup on, and I still, regardless of lockdown and not being able to go anywhere, whether it's work, I still make that effort, even 5 days a week. So look good makes you feel good, as far as I'm concerned. Aisha?
And the most important thing is, a lot of what you said is absolutely right, Silva. But the most important thing, I think, is because you're worth it.
Well, that's the whole point. We know it. That's the whole point. Because you are worth it. That's the whole point. I think that's it. It's actually I'm not even going to say self-love, because it's such a popular trend to say self-love, and a lot of people are not even at the point of liking themselves yet. So I'm going to say, let's deal with self-like. Let's assess the parts of ourselves that is suffering or challenged, and let's look at self-like. And as we continue to nurture that, it will then elevate into self-love. It's an everyday lifestyle.
And okay, to add to that, I'm not going to go into this NLP, but what I want to add to that is most of the feelings that people miss having, they had in the past. They're buried away. They just don't know how to get them out. They're resources, they are there. They just need reminding of how to get them. And that's what they need help with. If they can't find it themselves, that's why they go to people like coaches, because coaches can help you pull out those things that you used to have. Do you remember when you felt happy? Yeah, I was a kid and I was swimming through the water. You know, let's take you back there on a timeline and make you go to the past, and then you can capture that, pin it in your memory and bring you back to now, and then think about when you might feel that again in the future. It's possible. These things that people miss having, they've had before. It's just a question of accessing it.
And some things we've never had. It's a case of accessing what you never had and tapping into what those passions are. Well, on that note, take it away, Aisha.
All right.
Take us on a 5-minute journey or less.
5 minutes. Oh gosh. Oh.
It's possible.
All right. I'll when you want me to I don't know.
I do 5 minutes.
I think when you want me to wrap up. When you want me to wrap up. I mean, yeah, okay, let me see. Right. I'm just going to take you through getting you relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you listening, if you can just relax, get somewhere comfortable, whether it's on a sofa or lying down, close your eyes and just completely relax and think about an area that you'd like to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first of all, extend out your feet and lie with your arms and hands facing up on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a chair, then make sure that your feet are on the floor and your hands are in your lap in a comfortable position.
Mm-hmm.
And just breathe normally. Just breathe normally and take a nice breath, a nice deep breath. In and then 25% in and then 75% out slowly. And then do that again 2 or 3 times. In 25% and out 75% slowly. Do that yourself a few times and you'll find that that feels good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And as you take the next breath, allow yourself, with all the heavy muscles in your body, to relax so that they become like jelly. And every single one of your feelings, from your shoulders down to your arms, from your arms to your fingertips, and from your fingertips to your chest, and from your chest to your stomach, that feels all completely relaxed like jelly. Just relax. Okay, good. And now feel the legs loosen and any tightness around your hips is just gone. And relax and allow yourself to just float away down a river on your back, completely calm. Visualize that you're floating down a stream. Take another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now you're in a space where you're feeling completely relaxed. So just repeat after me or just listen to me, because these are now self-esteem, relaxation affirmations that you will listen to and follow. Good. So I'm going to begin that now. Are you ready?
I am.
So repeat or just listen as you wish, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm at peace with myself.
I'm at peace with myself.
I appreciate who I am.
I appreciate who I am.
And I value myself as a person.
And I value myself as a person.
And I deserve to relax and I deserve to be happy.
And I deserve to relax and I deserve to be happy.
I am a valuable human being.
I am a valuable human being.
And I embrace my happy feelings and I enjoy being content.
I embrace my happy feelings and I enjoy being content.
And I imagine and I believe that all of these affirmations are true for me right now, in this moment, and I enjoy the self-esteem affirmation that we're doing now.
That's a mouthful, girl.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say I enjoy
would just
all
have
the
to say you.
affirmations
That's
I'm
okay.
doing right now. I am abundant.
Sure. That's great. That's good too.
I've
That's
got
good.
to say, go on.
Yeah. So I'm a human being with flaws.
I'm a human being with flaws.
But I enjoy being who I am and I love myself as I am.
But I enjoy who I am and I love myself as I am.
And I feel secure in who I am and I don't need to compare myself to anyone.
And I feel secure with who I am and need not compare myself to anyone.
And these affirmations that I'm experiencing will lead to me accepting myself because I accept myself.
And these affirmations I am experiencing will lead me to self-acceptance.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And I care for myself.
And I care for myself.
And I'm perfectly all right just the way I am.
And I'm perfectly all right just the way I am.
And I am a valuable human being.
I'm a valuable human being.
And I feel secure.
And I feel secure.
So now just think about your peaceful place floating down the river with your eyes closed and relaxed, enjoying the environment around you, the birds singing, the sound of the water that you're lying on, floating you down the river, and acknowledge the feelings that you're experiencing after repeating this positivity, self-esteem, relaxation affirmation. And just do away with the negative feelings. Allow yourself to feel calm and at peace. And when you're ready, just take 3 more breaths. In 25%, out 75%. And when you've finished, just come back to now.
Voila.
That was a very, very condensed version of.
Thank you. And I have an affirmation for you. Are you ready? I'm a beautiful work in progress.
I am a beautiful work in progress.
Yeah. Although I accept me as I am.
Although
You're repeating after me now.
Myself as I am.
Am
I supposed to
me.
be?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fine, because I was doing that.
So let's start again. I'm a beautiful work in progress.
I am a beautiful work in progress.
I accept myself.
I am a beautiful work in progress.
I accept myself in my current state.
I accept myself in my current state.
And work towards elevating beyond.
And work towards elevating beyond.
And the reason why I have that affirmation is because although we ought to accept ourselves for where we are, there is characteristics in ourselves that must not stay where they are. That needs shifting, that needs to be eliminated. And that's why that is my affirmation that I'm sharing with you. Therefore, we don't
Thank
sit
you for sharing that.
Do you see my point? And therefore, and thank you, because it's a two-way thing, and therefore, we're not having affirmations that allow us to sit with some of our bad habitual habits and behavioral patterns and lifestyle traits, but we accept where we are, but we're not going to stay entirely where we are. But we are a beautiful work in progress, and that's good enough for us.
I love it. I totally believe that as well. Even if it's an affirmation, I totally believe it. I'm just like, people say when you turn a certain age, you just relax into yourself. But at the moment, I'm growing and learning so much. I'm just in awe of what I'm capable of. And
Absolutely.
I just hope and wish that for everyone, if it's good for them, if it's good for them.
Well, that was amazing, Aisha. And, you know, there are on YouTube, there are 5-minute meditations. There's 10 minutes, there's an hour, there's 4 hours. I think we just start where you want to start. And for those who are looking for breath work, affirmations, guided meditations and things like that, or even just tranquil music that you just have a moment of stillness with, they're all on YouTube or tranquil music on SoundCloud. You can find them anywhere. And Aisha will be attached and on all the posts that I post today, including this one, where you can go and look her up, potentially have private sessions. Am I correct, Aisha? With you, and people can contact you. Yeah?
And, you know, if I can't help, I will direct you to some of the coaches that I think can, because we all have our areas of expertise. I know a very good mental health coach, Diana Richards, a very good empowerment, self-empowerment coach, Yvonne Dodd. There's different people I can think of. Victoria, if you want calm and contentment, Victoria Morley, on a platform that's completely based on the Scandinavian concept of calm and contentment at home.
That's amazing.
Happy to share all of those, because it's about sharing and spreading.
Absolutely.
Spread the joy,
absolutely. So guys, feel free to add Aisha. Aisha, allow me to take this moment to thank you so very much for gracing us with your presence, for sharing elements of your journey and sharing your tips of how you manage through life, and also how other people can also use that to resonate and help encourage and support their own lives. So before I go, allow me to ask you about your afterthoughts. How do you feel today's live has gone for you? How's it been today on Free Flowing Thoughts with me?
So thank you for that question. I'm in awe, because actually I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from you, which is, it's always a two-way thing. For me, it's a recap on what I know already, and I'm sharing it to the audience. But what I really love about collaborating is that you learn a lot about what someone else, what their journey is about. And, you know, I'm privileged to be, you know, part of your journey, and for you to share that with us. You're the one who's the host of the platform, but nevertheless, I appreciate the being invited into the space.
Of course,
so
absolutely.
thank you very much. It's been very enriching, very enriching.
You're so very welcome.
I'm really looking forward to. I'm looking forward to you know, reading the comments later. And if anyone
that's it, guys. Please add comments. Please add comments on the post once I download this video, so that you can let us know what you felt. What can you share with us, how you get through your journeys, what you do, what your lifestyle is about, and maybe some of the things you've gone through. If there's anyone watching that would like to do also a live with me on any topic goes, as long as it flows, inbox me and I'll make it happen. I'm extremely liberal. I talk about anything. Have a scroll through my posts and you will see just that. Aisha, you've been a superstar.
I might connect you with Ali Bagley then.
Connect me with everyone. Let's make it happen. I'm actually seeking meditational coaches to come on and actually do speak about meditation. Also, I'm looking for tantric and Kama Sutra specialists. I'm seeking you know, spiritual coaches, anyone also, but it doesn't have to be specialized. It can be the ordinary person like me and somebody else talking about their life journey, or just a topic that they're passionate about. It could be absolutely anything. Let's make it happen. Our lives are on Wednesday and Fridays, 8:30 p.m. UK time. Aisha, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks
Peace and love. Namaste.
Bye.
Do you want to exit yourself just at the top? Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Oh, guys, thank you so much for those of you who joined. This video will be saved, so you can always watch it and share and watch it and share, and it will be added also to my YouTube at some point. Thank you very much. Let me know what your thoughts were on today, and yeah, please do add comments, because I can learn from it. And just sharing is caring. And do inbox me, anyone who wants to do a live. And I'll be back next week, Wednesday and Friday. It is Wednesday and Fridays, as I said, but it is the odd time where I will not be here based on other commitments I have. But mostly I'll put up a post to let you know when I'm going to be absent. So thank you guys again. Have a beautiful night. Speak soon. Peace and love.